All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating company, Edison International. It's a huge utility, but it's caught in this crazy tug-of-war between California's big green energy dreams and, well, its very real, very fiery climate.
So let's just get right to the heart of it. The number you really need to see today is this one, minus 24%. So what on earth is that?
Well, that's the gap between what Morningstar analysts think the stock is actually worth and what it's trading for. You heard that right. A major utility company is basically on sale. But you know how it goes, right? Every big discount has a story behind it, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so first up, let's tackle Section 1, a utility stock's big discount. So who are we even talking about here? Edison International, they're the parent company of Southern California Edison, and these guys are a huge deal. We're talking about providing power to 5 million customers across a massive 50,000 square miles of Southern California. That's a lot of ground to cover.
And this chart really just lays it all out, doesn't it? Morningstar's analysts are saying, hey, this stock should be worth $80 a share. But right now, it's hovering around 61. So let's really start digging into why there's such a big disconnect.
So yeah, why the big gap? That brings us to Section 2, and our first major clue, and it's a big one, the shadow of wildfires.
Now, what's really important to get from this timeline is that for Edison, wildfires aren't some freak one-off event. Oh no, it's a recurring, frankly painful pattern. You see those catastrophic disasters back in 2017 and 18? The company actually had to issue a ton of new stock just to get cash on the door. And now, they're still dealing with all the legal and regulatory headaches for more recent fires. The cycle just keeps going.
And if you want to put a price tag on that damage, get ready for this. $3.6 billion. That's how much the company is still trying to claw back just from those disasters a few years ago. It's just a massive, staggering number that's hanging over everything they do.
And the fallout from that? It's direct and it's pretty severe. You see, all this risk means it costs Edison more money to borrow money. And that, as you can imagine, has been a serious drag on their earnings growth for like the last 5 years. It's a classic case of risk just scaring investors away.
But wait, that's only one side of the coin. The risk? Yeah, it's crystal clear. But now, let's flip it and look at the massive opportunity here. Which brings us to Section 3, California's clean energy mandate. And at the heart of this whole opportunity is one single, gigantic state mandate: grid decarbonization. And let's be clear, this is not some fuzzy, wouldn't it be nice kind of idea. This is the law. California has to eliminate carbon emissions from its economy by the year 2045. That is one of the most ambitious green energy policies anywhere in the world.
So you might be thinking, what does a huge goal like that actually mean for a power company? Well, it means a complete top-to-bottom overhaul of the entire grid. We're talking about making the grid safer, plugging in massive amounts of renewable energy, supporting this explosion of electric cars hitting the roads, and building out energy storage. And guess who's right in the middle of all of it? Yep, Edison is absolutely critical to every single piece of this puzzle.
Okay, so that brings us to the money side of things. Let's look at Section 4, the multi-billion-dollar plan.
So, get this. Edison is planning to pour more than $7 billion into this every single year for at least the next 5 years. This is a huge, enormous bet on California's green future. We're talking about a truly massive investment program.
And what do they get for all that spending? What's the payoff? Well, they're projecting a 7% annual growth in earnings. Now, for a typically slow and steady utility company, 7% growth is, well, it's a really strong, really attractive number.
Okay, but we can't forget the other side of this. We have to go back to the risk. Remember that $3.6 billion hole we talked about? The one from the old wildfires. The absolute $1 million, or I guess billion-dollar question is this: can they get that money back from their customers? And that's where the regulators have to step in.
And the answer to that question is just critical for their financial health, especially in the short term. The whole plan is to get that money back over the next couple of years, 2025 and 2026. If the regulators give them the green light, it's a huge shot of cash. It could really bring down their borrowing costs and let them finally start to patch up their balance sheet.
So what we've got here is this company being pulled in two totally opposite directions at the same time, which, of course, brings us to our final section, a high-stakes balancing act.
And this chart just lays out the Edison enigma perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got this massive, government-mandated clean energy investment that's supposed to drive 7% growth. And hey, they've got a solid 21-year streak of raising their dividend. But on the other hand, you have the constant dark cloud of wildfire risks, battles with regulators, and the higher costs of borrowing money.
So where do the experts come down on this? Well, according to Travis Miller over at Morningstar, he thinks that even if Edison gets hit with some modest fire costs in the near future, he still believes they can keep up that impressive 21-year streak of dividend hikes. And that, right there, shows some real confidence in the company's financial strength, despite all the scary headlines.
And that really leaves us with the big ultimate question for anyone looking at the stock. It's this fundamental trade-off, isn't it? You've got a government-backed green future on one side and a climate-changed fiery present on the other. So for Edison International, the question is the promise of that cleaner tomorrow worth the very real risk of getting burned today?